Hey everybody, Sam here, also known as Mr. Stainless, and we are back talking about Skull and Bones, and more importantly, what we're talking about today is when I think we might get some more information on the game and what 2019 has in store for Skull and Bones. You see, more or less on probably all, if not most of my videos, there is someone, if you scroll through the comments enough, there will be someone that will ask me when Skull and Bones is going to be released or when I think the beta is going to come out and questions like that. Now, before we go any further, for those of you who think I am going to give some secret information as to when the game's coming out or when the beta is coming out, I don't know. I've honestly no idea. Like, I am as in the dark as you guys are. I may be one of the keepers of the code, which I will explain in a later video, but that doesn't mean that Ubisoft are just like, hey Sam, this is when the game's coming out, don't tell anyone. But what I do know is information that we have from Ubisoft's other releases and how they've kind of handled release windows and when they usually do release their games, and that's what we're going to be chatting about today and comparing that info with what we know about Skull and Bones so far. So what we do know is that they've told us that the game is going to release sometime between 2019 and 2020, which is a pretty massive release window. Now, I'm going to hedge my bets. I will most likely have to eat my hat if I'm wrong on this, but I'm going to hedge my bets and say that Skull and Bones is going to release in the latter half of 2019. And here's why I think that. So everything we've seen of the game so far, the game seems to be, like, if you looked at it, it looks relatively finished, it looks relatively well made, it's well polished. It may not, we don't know if it's balanced or not, but it, you know, all the pieces are there, all the pieces of the puzzle of this jigsaw have been put together. It looks like a game, like it's not, it doesn't look rough, is what I'm trying to say here. And it looks like it's in a state that if they did release it now, it probably would be fine. You know, it looks in a relatively good condition. So it's been like that probably for a year. Like every time we've seen it, it seemed to be well polished and looking pretty good. Which is why I don't think it's going to take them until 2020 to release this. I think they're basically sitting on the game right now, that it is relatively well finished. I think they are just balancing and polishing and fine tweaking and maybe adding extra little bits and pieces because they now have the time to do so, but I don't think they're going to keep delaying that until 2020. So I think it's going to get released in the latter half of 2019, but when is the beta going to come out and when are we actually going to get a defined release date? So I don't think we're going to get any more information, concrete information on when the beta or the game is going to be released until after E3 2019. The reason why I say that is because in my head it just doesn't really seem to make much sense. I think it would have much more weight if Ubisoft came out and actually announced the release date of the game along with maybe a new trailer, some more information, maybe of the story or the single player campaign or whatever, and had that be a precursor, have that gameplay footage up on screen, and then wham, they hit us with the release date of, you know, October, September 2019. I see that as having a lot more gravitas really than them announcing it before E3. What I think is going to happen is that we're going to have some closed secret technical tests before E3. For those of you who don't know what technical tests are, they had these, well, Ubisoft and a number of other companies have these for their games where they basically get, it's kind of like a closed alpha, only it's like a pre-alpha alpha, if that makes any sense. So basically, once they have a playable build of a game, what they'll usually do is if they want to test it outside of their employees, they'll kind of get a small group of maybe a couple of hundred or maybe 1,000 players, and they'll send out a technical test build to all of these people, and it's basically to try the game on a variety of different machines with a variety of different players, and let them get their hands on it and see if it breaks and what does break and what they think of the experience and what they think of the balancing, and it just kind of helps them, I guess, polish before it gets to a more widely available playable state. So those usually come before the alphas. I think we're going to have technical tests happening before E3 2019. I don't think we're going to get an open or closed beta until the latter half of 2019 as well, until maybe like a month or 2 months before the game releases. We've seen that happen with a number of other Ubisoft titles. I think the same thing's happening with The Division 2. It happened with Ghost Recon Wildlands with For Honor. They usually have like the closed beta maybe about 3 weeks to a month before the game releases, and then an open beta about 2 weeks before the game drops, almost as like a, hey, here's a demo, but we're also going to call it a closed beta. I think that's what's going to happen. So I think what we're going to see in 2019 is that we'll probably get drips and drops of information, maybe talking about a new ship, or maybe a new gameplay trailer or something like that on the run up to E3 2019. I think at E3 2019 we're going to get a more full look at the game experience of Skull and Bones, and I think we're also going to get a concrete release date as well as dates for a closed beta. I think we're going to have technical tests that will be occurring pre-E3, potentially during the summer, on the run-up to the closed alpha and closed beta stages. I think if we are going to have a closed alpha, it'll probably happen in the summer, with the technical tests happening before E3, and then we're going to get a closed beta somewhere around September, October of 2019 for the game to be released potentially in October to November 2019. That is what I think. It's completely speculative. I want to put that out there right now. Like, this is, I'm running off no information apart from what I can gather from the interwebs and from what we've seen and what we know of games up to this point. If I had to guess, that is what I would guess. It would be pretty funny if that all turned out to be completely true. We'll just have to wait and see. Whenever the game releases and whenever E3 comes around, we'll probably revisit this video and see if I got any of this right. I could be completely wrong. Like, Ubisoft could come out and just pull a blinder on us and just release the game like before E3 or whatever, but I think from what we know about Ubisoft and from what we see from other games and from what we see other games doing, I think that's a pretty good guess of when we'll see Skull and Bones hitting the shelves. I would be incredibly disappointed, on the verge of highly frustrated and angry if they actually said that no, this game isn't coming out in 2019, it's coming out in 2020. Honestly, that would genuinely piss me off, because I feel already like that the hardcore people in this community who have been waiting for this game have already been waiting for like at least 2 years, and for them to turn around and say, yeah, no, it's 2020, I think that would be a really big nail in the coffin for a lot of people. So I think 2019 is the year we're going to see it. Technical tests pre-E3, release date and closed beta announcement at E3, closed alpha over the summer. We're going to see a closed beta September-ish for a release in October/November on the run-up to the holiday period. Folks, that's what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are. But folks, until next time, if this is the first time you've come across my channel and you're a fan of Skull and Bones, hit the subscribe button. I try to upload a new video on Skull and Bones whenever I can. But until next time, have a great week, and I will of course speak to you all very soon.